Hey fellas, how you doing? On my Rule 399, welcome to the Madhouse, welcome to Flight School, I guess. This is week 2. If you missed last week, there should be a link in the description below and an annotation on the screen where we were looking at the Luxor, which is a private jet. Go check that out before you watch this. Anyway, this week we're going to be looking at the Mallard, which is a vehicle both available in single player and online. One thing I want to mention is the size of the Mallard. I mentioned it last week. When you're doing stuff like barrel rolls and things, it's a little bit more difficult to do that because it kind of throws itself and overthrows. So you've got to be quite, precise with how you do it, and it takes a little bit more skill than, say, with the Luxor, which is kind of like a slow rotation. This is a lot quicker. Having said that, though, because it's much smaller, it can be used in a lot of tighter areas. You'll also notice that the wheels don't, the landing gear don't be brought in, so you don't need to worry about having to bring those out if you've got a bit of an emergency landing happening. Emergency landings are very easy to do if you've got a little bit of knowledge about you. If you ever wanted leveling and you want to get away from them relatively quickly, the Mallard is probably one of the best options to doing it. It's just so nice and easy just to pull back the stick, up you go, right? That's it. I mean, it's not like a helicopter where you've got to wait for it to gain altitude. No, you point yourself up in the air, up you go. I mean, the only thing I reckon would beat this in my experience is the nice jet that you can get from the military base, and that is an incredibly difficult thing to do, or at least I find it hard to get one of them. I always get blown up on the way out, but this, it's pretty easy to do. You can go up, you can still do your stunts and that. In fact, this is probably one of the locations I'd send you just to do like loop-de-loops, just to practice those. Go up in the air, because if you've not got anything underneath you, you've not got to worry about crashing. So go up here, do some loop-de-loops, lose the cops. It is pretty easy to do. Occasionally, if you've got a tail, all you need to do is you need to just lean down and go back down into the city. If it's a helicopter that's chasing you, you will lose altitude quicker than that will, resulting in you being able to lose that, and then you just go up again and wanted levels gone. Simple. It's nice for doing that sort of stuff. It really is a good all-round plane, this is. I mentioned earlier on that you should be able to purchase one of these in single player and acquire one online. It's if you're in, after getting one in single player, it should be about $250,000 off of the internet, which is fair enough. If you're on online, I'm not sure you can buy one. I couldn't find any figures for that, but if you're on online and you go to the airport, there should be one right outside the Titan, so you can get hold of that, and that's it. If you don't worry about fighting people for it. It's there are plenty there. If someone's going for one, let them take it. Wander off for a moment, come on back, you'll have one for yourself. There are a couple there as well. I think the Velum's out there and all, but this particular craft is there as well for you to take, and it really is fantastic for just flying around and stuff. We're going to go on to see whether or not it's capable at doing races, though. That is an important thing because people like to race planes. I know I like to race planes, so let's go and talk about that. Question I was asked a little bit last week in a couple of private messages is, should you race this vehicle? My answer is, depending on the race. If it's one of those, the one where you go through Ron's airfield online, the one where you got the whole sort of the wind turbine stuff going, use this if you've got that in there, even though it's probably going to lose if you're up against one of the Luxors, the Shamals, anything that's relatively big, because they go faster. This is really good at turning, and it will go around corners a lot quicker. It will turn and bank and do all that a lot faster than something like the Luxor will. But if it's something that requires a lot of straightness, don't race this thing. Don't do it, because you will lose against something that's much bigger with a lot more power. The Luxor will just beat your ass in every single time. But having said that, this plane is probably a little bit better than anything else except for carrying people, right? I mean, if you're learning, then go ahead, use one of the bigger ones, because I find them easier to fly. But this one, once you've got the hang of it, this is probably a far better plane than nearly anything you can get your hands on. So there's that one for you. I think I've said everything I need to say about this plane, gentlemen. I think, you know, it's kind of everything it's covered there. I don't want to say too much more because, of course, you know, it drags it out and it probably drags it a little longer than it need be. So if you've enjoyed this video, go ahead, click the like button below. Let me know what I should try out next week. If you would like, share this with your friends if they're having any problems with their sort of, you know, their flying or whatever. If they want to know a little bit about this, send them here. I'm trying to get this video a bit more known. If you're new to the channel, there is a subscribe button, but, you know, I do, you know, it's whatever, you know what I do. But either way, but I rule 3 in the 9. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I'll catch you later on again at some point, hopefully. Bye-bye!